Welcome to my website. This is where I host the interactive visuals part of the data visualization and data science course. So if you go to this tab here in data visualization project, you'll find this document, which is a series of interactive visuals pieced together by by a narrative. The narrative sort of tries to explain variation between per capita mental health costs, sort of between municipalities. So here we have a histogram. It looks sort of bright skewed with a few outliers here. If we then go down to the first visual, this is a interactive choropleth map of the Netherlands. You can zoom, you can pan, you can sort of, like I currently am in Amsterdam, so I'd be interested in sort of what these per capita costs are in Amsterdam. For the colors, I binned them along quantiles. I figured that'll be clearer than a continuous color scheme. Fewer colors, easier to comprehend. I pull up this rubric from Tamar Munzner. I found this very useful in sort of determining the right amount of interactivity. So here in this particular graph, I'm assuming that the audience tends to be Dutch, even though it's written in English. The people who care about this are Dutch. So they'll sort of know about the location, to be able to place big cities, municipalities. They have familiarity with a map of the country, and the target can be either unknown or known, just sort of browsing around or a lookup. So like browsing around, or just sort of fits both. Adding a search box or some other things to locate would be too much, and would probably go beyond would make it too complicated. Then where you're looking at sort of variation, like why do these costs actually differ? Here you can plot. Here I plotted the per capita cost versus the urban density. What you see here is some sort of triangularly shaped clouds of points, and a few points above here. What you see here is this is actually made in D3, and it's interactive. That is, if you hover over these marks, then you'll see you'll see a name emerge below, the name of the municipality emerge below. So here, like, location is unknown, and the target is sort of known. I'm assuming, because people will be interested in these outliers. That's sort of what I nudged them to care about. So then you sort of see, like, yeah, Heerlen, Zutphen, Boekel, and Assen. So that's what this plot does. Yes, that's about it. Then socioeconomic status. So we talk a bit about like social welfare. There's a bunch of variables that are intimately related to each other, which I've reduced by means of PCA, which I now call a social welfare dimension. Again, the similar per capita cost. It's a bit more like a cigar shaped, although slightly triangular as well. But the interesting thing is that these again are outliers, and they're not just like, it's not that they're you can argue that, well, they're not actually outliers, but they do not really conform to the majority of the data. That's what I deem an outlier here. We've got a few points here, again, the same cities. Then you might, like, I sort of constructed a new dimension, which I call the geographical density of mental health care providers. That is the amount of mental health care institutions within a 50-kilometer radius of every municipality in the Netherlands. So then if you plot that, the number of institutions on the horizontal axis and per capita cost on the y-axis, you see a pretty like uniform distribution. Like, there's no relationship between these two variables, except for these four. These four observations, they stand out, and these are exactly the same observations as we saw above. So then I color coded them because I sort of wanted to highlight these municipalities and contrast them with the sort of the minimal outline of this document. And then we go down here and we see a table with more detailed information about these municipalities. And then here I'm using sort of the emerging properties of the longitude and latitudes of these municipalities. And again, you see the Netherlands emerge, and you see these four towns. So the take home message, at least what I would want people to take home, is that sort of the histogram is a fairly normal histogram, but there are these four outliers. And I think these outliers are outliers because of this plot here. That is, like, there are not that many healthcare institutions in their area, or sort of in their proximate area, within that 50-kilometer radius. So people in that area would have to come to those municipalities to receive care, which inflates per capita mental health care costs in those specific municipalities. Well, thank you very much, and bye bye.